Hello world, I am Curtis Simpson, and this is Jectives Typography News number 59. Today is Friday, June 26, 26, that's nice. And per usual, I have plenty of typography news to get into for you today. This week was Typographics 2026. It was also TypeLab 2026, the Americas, the Europe, and also unplanned for to talk about this week, Config, Figma's conference 2026 going on this week as well. So just a huge week for conferences. And I think in the future, unless I'm reporting live at these, I probably won't try to cover them the day that they are still going on, because my brain is a little bit full right now. On top of all that, we're still going to cover a lot of the news from this week, and then tomorrow we're going to go live after the Typographics conference ends on Saturday, and we'll cover like another half. So let me give you the stories real quick, and then we'll get into it. Cape Arcona has a new license and a new web store. Very nice. Fontdue has updated their website. Latinotype also updated their website, and they have a 50% off sale. We're going to look at that in a second. The Fort app now includes web fonts. Very nice. Plain Text 4 is coming soon. Typographics 2026. Day 1 was today. TypeLab. Day 1 and Day 2 for Americas and Europe were the past 2 days. Config 2026 also going on this week. New releases. We've got 8 new releases. So I said we're going to split this in half. I had 16 new releases on my list. I really thought the foundries might go easy on me this week, because we have so much going on this week, and I'm stuttering right now because I just realized that I don't have a YouTube Studio up in the background. So let me go ahead and pull this up so I can see chat. I apologize. 1 second. Okay. Whoops. So I had 16 new releases this week. I thought there might be less since there's so much other stuff going on, but some of them were actually announced and talked about at Typographics this week. So that makes sense. Okay, so new releases from BB Bureau, the Designers Foundry. We got 2 from the Designers Foundry. Pizza Typefaces, kind of 2 from them. One's a Sans, one's a Serif, so it goes together. It's a family. New release from Line 2. That one came out of beta. StormType has a newer version of a typeface, one of their Neo. If you're familiar with StormType, they do. Sometimes StormType does Neo versions of other typefaces. Monkey Type, this is a new one for the channel, has a new release this week. And then Foundry that everyone should know, Frere-Jones, this new release from them. That one was talked about at Typographics this week. And then at the end of this, we'll preview the new releases for tomorrow. Let me go ahead and get into like my typical featured stories, and then we'll do the events, and then we'll do the new releases. So let me go ahead and switch my screen. Get everything up right now. Here we go. So like I said, first things first here, Cape Arcona has a new website and a new license. Let me go ahead and give you a preview of the website. This will also give you a preview of tomorrow's story, which is going to be Spotnik Serif. Pretty excited about this one. Have not tested it out yet. Have not tested out anything that we're going to be talking about, any of the typefaces. So I'm just going to be kind of burning through the typefaces. We'll look at them quickly today. More or less going to be like second impressions. But for right now, Cape Arcona, tomorrow we'll talk about their new release. This one here is their new 1 license. You can see on here, this article was just posted yesterday. I think they talked about this on social media maybe a few days ago. Looks like 3 days ago right there. And I did reach out for a comment, so I can get to that in just a second. But the basics are right here. See how much I can zoom in on this. 1 license. We love to see it. Every use case, no subscriptions, no surprise upgrades, just buy once and use everywhere from print to web to apps. And then they give a little thing right here. This is funny because this came out after I talked to them, so I guess I could have waited to see this. But I did talk to Tomas Shostak, and he's always been very receptive to my requests for comments. You know, a lot of times I get ghosted. I think that's just how it goes for any journalist. But you don't always get a response when you request a comment. But Tomas, Cape Arcona, they always get back to me. So there's not like a ton to look at here, but you can see the license right here. It says print, web, social media, logo, app embedding, hardware embedding. You get everything. Let me go ahead. Let me see if I can pull this out. Let me try to duplicate this real quick. Boom. So this is just a this is how much can I zoom in on this? Oh, that's interesting. I can't zoom in since it's a new tab. Can we do this? There we go. So this is a peek behind the curtain here. This is my Obsidian right here. But I've got my comment from Tomas right here. I just wanted to pull this up because I did ask them, like, prior to this, were they selling on other websites? Because I know when I'd done my review of Yoshiro Pixel, one of my favorite fonts of last year, for sure, it was in my top 10, but probably one of my top favorite fonts of all time. That at the time that I reported was only available from You Work For Them. And one of the things that I had to say about it was like, there's a lot of fine print. So go look at that like on your own time with You Work For Them, because you just got to be sure. Any of these third-party marketplaces, you're going to be dealing with a lot more fine print because they're trying to cover tons of use cases. So it's great that you can buy this direct. Previously, they'd only been selling through third parties. But they decided to start selling on their own website. They did it with a shop that they programmed themselves. Very cool to see. And it says they haven't promoted it yet because it's so new, but it looks like they are starting to right now. The thing that I really wanted to talk about was what inspired the new license, because we've seen a few different foundries go this route. Massdriver comes to mind. Simple Bits has the super simple license. There's like a bunch of different foundries that have switched to this much simpler model. It's easier for them to track. It's easier for us. You just buy it once, you use it. It's great. But this is the response that he gave when I asked about that. And he was saying him and Stefan and I, he says, actually still remember the mid-90s when there was only one license and it was desktop, and the only distinction was the maximum number of workstations that the font was licensed for. He says, I call it the 90s license. And he says, like, it was so simple, like you could just use it after you bought it, and God help us if we could just do that now. He says, today it's a mess. You have to specify all these things, and then you still have to pick another license, for each use case and stuff like that. So they said, they wanted to make a license that they want to use. Cape Arcona wants a license that designers want to use. They want a license that you can just buy and then use. And the buying experience, they want that to be easy and frictionless as possible, I guess would be a good way to put it. That's me summarizing. But yeah, so they're saying we're fully aware that our license doesn't maximize profits. When other foundries or when Cape Arcona could like make you choose each one, that would maximize the profits. But they basically, like I said, they want what they would want for themselves. And if no one else is going to offer that, then they'll just be the only ones to do it. And that's fine with me. Cape Arcona, great foundry. We're going to talk about them again tomorrow. But I've linked this in the description along with all the other stories today. Nothing is sponsored, no affiliate links, nothing like that. So feel free to check these out, knowing they are completely, unpaid for, unbiased. Obviously, it's subjective because I'm a human, but Cape Arcona, new license. I'm really excited about this. Tomorrow, we'll take a better look at the store, and I'll give you my second impressions of Spotnik here, because I'm not going to have time for a deep dive on this one this week, but potentially in the future. Love a Cape Arcona typeface. Next up, another new website here. We got 3 new websites this week, right? Yeah. I didn't even write this down. Let me just say this now. I didn't even write this down. Glyphs 4 is coming out. I guess we could talk about this tomorrow. We'll talk about this tomorrow, so that I don't... yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't even know what's coming up there. We type Glyphs 4. Glyphs 4 was also announced at Typographics. I'll talk about that tomorrow. I forgot to write it down. We'll get to it tomorrow. So second new website here is Fontdue. Fontdue upgraded their website, and It looks nice and clean. Before it was kind of more of like a B2B site. Like this is still B2B. You're still, working with other foundries, but it was very, I don't know how to say it. Like it was very bare bones. Like it got the job done to get people to be able to see what it was and stuff. But this is so much cleaner, so much nicer. And I think that it's only going to further the ability for them to attract independent foundries to start selling on their own websites and not relying so much on other marketplaces. I don't entirely know how this compares to other things, but I know some of the percentages, and I can just show you this right here. They're taking 5% of the sale that doesn't include the processing fees. So if you're doing like Stripe or something like that, they're probably going to take 3% at least. So you're looking at 8% off plus $49 a month. But when you're dealing with third-party marketplaces, they're taking somewhere between, I don't know, 10, 20, 50% in some cases. I know Fonts XYZ just came out and they've got one of the lowest ones. Font Bros I know has a very low very low commission on theirs. So I'd have to check and see who gets who pays foundries the most. But I know that Fontdue, you're also doing it yourself. So that's a little bit more work, but yeah, these are all the different foundries that have used it. We see these foundries all the time. If I clicked on any one of these, you would see some similar characteristics, and it's all built into Fontdue. It seems very great. I've seen some interviews with I forget his name now. Tom? Let me see. Seen interviews with, oh goodness, I don't remember the founder's name now. Anyway, the founder of Fontdue. I know he's Celine Herka's husband. I've seen interviews with him, and I was very impressed. Just in general, seems like a cool dude. I love the approach. And look at all these foundries, look at all these websites that are using it. It's not looking like a generic website, that because this is just all backend. So they're putting the backend Fontdue on the on your website. You can do whatever you want with it. It's very cool. Maybe I will try to reach out and talk to Fontdue and get some more details on this now that they have updated everything. Might be a good opportunity good timing to do that. I previously just reached out and how would you say it? And introduced myself before when I read the interview. Fontdue. Yeah, I don't see any names on here. Okay. The only thing I wanted to show you on this was the last thing down here at the bottom, because there is like an FAQ thing. Tom, I was right. Tom Conroy. So it was created by Tom, and it says right here, will you ever sell Fontdue? No, we are pledging to remain completely independent. This is the big thing in the type industry because people don't like when businesses sell to Monotype. Monotype I don't think that they're a monopoly because clearly we talk about so many independent foundries, but they are the biggest player in the space next to Adobe and Google Fonts and stuff like that. Anyway, but so people want to know that this platform is not going to be sold, and they're pledging to remain independent. The invisible words there, will you ever sell Fontdue to to Monotype? Anyway, so new website looks cool. Maybe we can get some more details on that in the coming weeks or months. Third new website we've got here. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Third new website this week is coming from Latinotype, and this looks like a very nice upgrade. The upgrade here is similar to the one that we just saw from Cape Arcona, and it is now that you can buy your fonts directly from Latinotype. Great to see. And actually, this is a great tie-in that I did not plan. Let me show you real quick, because the back end of this is Fontdue. And we know this because if we try to purchase something, let me go ahead and go to buy abstract. You get this little slide over. This is the hallmark of Fontdue. This and the little grid where the glyphs pop up nice and big. Oh, my face is in the way. It's okay. We've all seen this 100 times, right? So this is a Fontdue website right here. So I did reach out to Latinotype for a comment, asked, why they decided to do this now, because they'd forever just been, I think they're like a special partner or something with Monotype and My Font and stuff like that. So I know that they probably have a decent deal with them for that marketplace, but now you can buy direct. So I did reach out and ask why they did that now, and then what their choice was to go with Fontdue. Didn't hear back. That's fine. Regardless, the website looks nice, and you're dealing with Fontdue, so you know you're gonna have a good time getting through this. It just seems like a nicer setup to be able to reach out and or reach out to them. You could reach out to them, talk directly. There's a sales button down here, but it's a nice way to deal directly with the Foundry. Anytime you can deal directly with the Foundry, directly with the designers, I'm a fan of that. I like that much, much more. Dealing with real people is a great thing. We've got our fourth story here. It is Fort app. We have talked about this several times. And the one thing that has been requested from them for a while, if you don't know, Fort app is a combination of Fort Foundry and Hoodspa, and they put all of their fonts on an app, and for a subscription price, you can have access to all of them. The one thing this does that other subscriptions don't do is it does give you a lifetime license to one of the fonts. The license is going to be like a desktop license or a web license. You'll choose which one it is. So it's not like a one license like we just saw. But the cool thing is that if you buy the 1 year membership subscription, it's actually cheaper to get the 1 year subscription and get your free license than it is to just buy the license outright. So if you were going to buy a full family license for one of these fonts, just get the subscription, get your free license, then you can use all of the fonts plus a bunch of early access stuff for cheaper than actually purchasing it outright. And nothing else is different. You still get everything that you would have gotten. The one thing that people have been asking for are web fonts. And you can see right there, it says coming soon, but the website has not been updated because it is here. Let's see if this loads. Okay. It is here. Spice up your site with any web font from Fort. So they've added it. We don't necessarily need to go through all the steps and stuff like that. I don't have this linked in the description just because it is linked to my my email, you know, the little IDs and stuff like that. So but now if you do get the Fort app, you can use it for websites. Great to see. Not much more to say. But Fort app, Fort Foundry, Hoodspa, moving forward with this, and it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch and see how this plays out. Still waiting for the Windows version. Okay, our last featured story here before we get into the events is coming from Plainform. Plainform has been putting out these, what are they calling these? Semi-annual publications for exploratory type design. I caught this on typedrawers.com. So if you're wanting to get real nerdy and see what the type designers are actually talking about amongst themselves, other than typo.social, the Mastodon server, TypeDrawers is a great forum to go check out. Much better than Reddit or something like that. These are professionals on here, and you have to actually like apply to get in. I don't think that there's much of like an application process, but it's just to get the bots out and stuff like that. Anyway, Plainform posted about the next issue of Plain Text coming up. Plain Text number 4 is coming. If you go to the website, I've got both these linked in the description. I think I have both these linked in the description. If I don't, I will add them both. But I think they're both in the description. You can see all 3 of them are on here. Number 3 is still available for order. Number 2 is available for order. But number 1 is out of stock. It is completely sold out. The great thing about this, though, is that you can read it online for free now. So you don't get the print version. I think this might have actually downloaded it. No. There it goes. So you can read this in PDF version. It's taking a second to load, so I'm just gonna not do it right now. But I did check out and read a little bit of this, and it is, when they say exploratory, when they say experimental, it is very experimental. But it's pretty cool. They're really, really pushing the boundaries with this one. So just a heads up, the 4th one is coming soon. And you can still back order, or you can still order the 3rd and 2nd editions. But the very first issue, you can read for free PDF online. Go to the website, click the links, and you can get an idea of what this might be like, and then you can decide if you want to purchase the new one or not. Okay, let's get into the events. this is the big thing. This is why we're going live tonight because I probably I don't know that it was a great idea to go live tonight because my brain is just not really working that well. But Typographics 2026, let's get it going right here. Typographics 2026 is this week. It's still ongoing right now, but the first day of the conference was today. You can see June 26th and 27th. And as predicted, it is on YouTube. So I've got the link in the description as well. Boom. I'm going to pause this as soon as it starts. Okay, it didn't start. Great. But this is 7 hours long. You can skip through it. I don't think they're going to add chapters to it, but you can skip through. You can also look at the schedule right here, and then you can see the speakers, and you can kind of go through and, if you see one speaker, you know who's coming up next. I know that's pretty small on your screen probably. But this is what I spent my day doing today. I was watching Typographics 2026, day one. I'm just going to talk in generalities right now because I haven't had much time to process. This literally ended, less than 2 hours ago from the time of me starting this live stream. So what I will say is that there were some very impressive speakers in terms of the clients that they have worked with, the projects that they talked about, things like that. It was really cool. There were some technical difficulties in the beginning of it. Let me just look at my notes real quick. There were a couple of technical difficulties in the sense that the audio wasn't working right away, but there was an echo in the start, but it did get fixed. So don't worry about that. If you hear the audio, don't be scared away. It gets better after a few minutes. The other thing is they didn't have the speaker or the camera facing the speakers. They only had the screen showing, so presenters, I should say. They didn't have the camera showing the presenters. They get that fixed later on too. They end up showing that. Likewise, I guess maybe we could do like some freeze frames on here. Okay, so you can see right now they're showing like the screen right here. Later on, they did get it fixed to where they could show you the speakers, if I can find one. The speakers as well as, gosh, I can't find it now. That's an advertisement. Anyway, at the start, they were only showing the screen. They did get it fixed after like the first break. So if you like to see the people, like most of the people in chat wanted, that does come later as well. Yeah, like I said, they were very impressive. There were some fun advertisements and stuff like that. I'm nervous to actually show you the videos. I do want to show it to you, but I don't want YouTube to flag it. You can probably see me in here talking in chat and stuff like that. Yeah, I will have more thoughts on this tomorrow. They were very different speakers today too, so it wasn't like everyone was talking about the same thing. There was this one here was talking about some sign painting and stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll have more to say about this tomorrow once I've had a second to collect my thoughts. But what I've enjoyed way more this week, and I was pretty surprised by this, was TypeLab. Last year, I didn't pay a ton of attention to TypeLab because it was very unstructured. And honestly, that's what I loved about it so much this year. There are 4 TypeLab videos, live streams that you can go watch. And there are going to be 2 more on Sunday. So TypeLab Europe, TypeLab Americas. Let me go ahead and pull up both of these for you. TypeLab Europe, TypeLab Americas. I have all 4 videos linked in the description. Also, if you go to the community tab on the Objectives channel, you'll be able to see. Okay, 8's on here leaving comments. Nice. Got distracted. Shoot, I have all the channels linked in on the community tab, but these 2 are the only 2 that published. So Peter Van Blockland's version of TypeLab Europe is up there, not the official one. They didn't live stream anything. They only did it on Zoom. TypeLab America's channel has it up there. Nothing was published on TypeLab Asia's this year and TypeLab Asia. The thing about these TypeLabs, and the reason why hopefully you didn't skip to the next chapter yet, is these are only going to be available for a few days. So if you want to watch these TypeLabs, watch them now, or go check on DuckDuckGo and look for YT-DLP, right? YT-DLP. And that will let you download these via terminal or via console. I downloaded these. I did watch them all in real time, but man, it's just, you're looking at 7 hours here, 11 and a half hours there. These are only 2 days. We had 2 more days today. You're talking about 24 hours worth of video almost in 2 days. If you want to have any sort of comprehension, you're probably going to want to watch these later and not like binge watch them like I did this week. But I had the most fun watching these TypeLabs this week. I'm going to have a few different things that I'm going to call out tomorrow. I'm going to go back and make notes about my TypeLab videos that I enjoyed, the speakers, but there were some really fun people that I was not previously familiar with, or people that I was only familiar with by name from releasing Typefaces and stuff. And it was really cool to see them present and interact with other people in the community and things like that. So I had a lot of fun watching TypeLab. They're much more unstructured. They're much more casual, and they're supposed to be ephemeral. They're going to delete these after a few days. They only leave them up so that you don't have to completely consume the live streams. But if you're like me and you want to be able to watch these later, check out YT-DLP. You could download these. Obviously, don't re-upload them or do anything weird with them. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having a copy to be able to watch, for the next month or whatever, rather than trying to watch all of these in one weekend, which is crazy. I don't know, why they delete them. It's unfortunate, but that's what they do. So more on that tomorrow. And probably even more on that, like the week after as well. Let me get a drink and we'll keep moving. So Typographics going good, TypeLab going even better. I really enjoyed TypeLab this week. And there are going to be more episodes, 2 more live streams of TypeLab on Sunday. So I'll remind you guys tomorrow about that, and I'll include some links tomorrow for those. Simultaneously, I was not planning on watching this, but I ended up watching it. I didn't even know that it was this week. Config 2026 Figma. They do multiple configs a year, so it's a little bit strange. But I've linked the live stream and I've also linked this video. So the live stream is only the keynote, but then there are a bunch of extra videos that are going on that they're not necessarily showing. The ones that I've watched, the keynote, really cool. There's this AI thing called Weave, and I don't know, I'm not really into like generative AI, like deep. I pay attention to it. I don't use it. Anytime I've tried to use it, I'm not like someone that's invested a bunch of time in prompting or anything like that. But anytime I've tried to use it, it just doesn't really do what I want. And even when you do like a magic fill tool or something like Canvas AI, I just haven't felt like it was worth any amount of money. But this one right here, I don't know if this will be anything actually that people will want to use. Is this going to show me? It's not. So there was a speaker that was talking about Weave in Figma, and Weave was really interesting because it was node based. So if you've ever used Blender or you've used some other app that has nodes, I think that's really the way that generative AI is going to work the best, is with these nodes. So imagine you have, like, I think they did like a picture of an apple, a picture of some leaves, and they generated some text that they wanted to have on there. And you had these different nodes, and then you could like edit each individual part of it. It looks really cool. I don't use Figma. I've checked it out a few times, but it's just not in my workflow. I don't use Figma. I don't use generative AI, but as far as that stuff goes, that was the coolest thing that I've seen so far related to that. There are a ton of speakers on here, though. I have not watched any of these. Like I said, I watched the keynote. I watched this one right here, The Death of the Finished State. That was really cool. I watched that one today when I was getting ready. It was about the branding of Brat for Charlie XCX. That was really cool, and I really liked that one. Not linked, but you can go to the videos here. So a lot of stuff coming out of Figma. I have not had time to watch it, but they usually have quality content. And to be honest, the quality of the presentations is way above the quality of the presentations at Typographics. It's a much bigger conference. It's a much more money put into it and stuff like that. But when you're watching them back to back, it's a little bit shocking how much more money Figma has to do their conference than Cooper Union does. Okay, so just put that on your radar. Let's get into some new releases because despite the fact that there was so much going on this week, the foundries did not slow down. So I'm going to turn my face off and get a drink of water, and we will get into these news releases. Do this, and I'm going to close some tabs as well. So, like I said at the top of the show, these are more or less going to be like second impressions because hopefully this one loads. Second impressions because I have not had time to do deep dives on any of these. I've downloaded trials for some of them. I'm going to turn my face on until this actually loads. I have downloaded trials for most of these that I'm able to. I did download a trial for this one, but I haven't actually had time to use it. I stopped the website and then it started working. Interesting. I actually reached out to BB Bureau here and asked if they had ever considered making a normal website because I hate this website so much. Love the typefaces, really don't like this website. You can't even, I just had to link to the website because I can't even link to a specific font because they don't have font pages. But this is the typeface we're looking at today, and it's Garara_alt. There is Garara right here, but there's Garara alt. Let me go ahead and show you this. Oh, this one lets you do it. You have to do a hashtag. Interesting. I'm not going to wait for that to load, though. But actually, gosh, we're going to have to refresh this because the website didn't load. Let me go ahead and show you this on Blue Sky real quick. Here is a little bit of an animation here. And this is where I caught this first. Garara alt. And this is really cool. I think this is a variable font where you can actually do the slider and make it do this animation right here. But these are not loading at all. Okay, we're gonna let this load in the background and we'll come back to it if it decides to work because we have so many other new releases today that I'm not gonna waste any time. Actually, you know what? We'll just skip this completely and we'll do it tomorrow if we have time to do it tomorrow. This was gonna be Garara alt from BB Bureau, but nothing's loaded in, unfortunately. So it's basically like a Garamond, but it's a very interesting one, as you can see. Okay, let's go ahead and keep moving here. All right, gonna give a quick shout out here to Songyun Park, subscriber to the channel. How's it going? Released a new typeface via one of my favorite foundries, the Designer's Foundry. This is called Onica. Hopefully, I think it's called Onica. I am planning on doing deep dives on these on two new releases here from Designer's Foundry, but this first one here is called Onica, and it's just got a regular and a regular italic, but you can see it's very calligraphic. Like I said, do not have a ton of info on these, so these are going to be like second impressions. I've already looked at everything once, obviously, but I'm more or less just going to be giving you a quick look at these, and then we will move on to the next one. But let's go ahead and look through the web pages. And I've got all these linked in the description as well. This one has been a work in progress for, well over a year. I think he was posting about this back in September. Let me go see. Oh, it's actually gone now. Wait, no, these are the old ones. Yeah, September 2025 right here. So these were a work in progress way back when, and I reached out to Daniel McQueen, owner of the Designer's Foundry, and asked at what point in the process he started working with Songyun on this. And he said that they had actually talked about releasing the last typeface that Songyun released, they were releasing, Designer's Foundry was releasing something very similar. So they were looking for a way to work together, and this is how that panned out. And it looks great. Definitely very unique. And that was one of the things that Songyun also told me, was that he was looking to create something unique that everyone else wasn't doing, because that response that he got from the Designer's Foundry the first time around was a response that a lot of foundries are giving designers. Ooh, look at that right there. Let's open this in another tab. Oh, we can't. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. Nope, we can't. Okay, that's as big as it gets. Look at the baseline. This big arrow really helps. I think it's silly most times, but right now it helps. Look at this baseline. Look how clean those serifs line up right there. We're definitely going to do a deep dive on this, but look how clean that is. That's a great line. Boom. I like that a lot. So this does just have the Roman and the italic, but it does seem to be pretty nicely developed. I already have review licenses for these. I requested and received them from the Designers Foundry, but I really like these specimens. They're simple, but they show off exactly what you're going to get. And then it's got some OpenType features. You could pull this little, why do they call, no, it's not an envelope, right? It's a folder. What's a manila envelope? Okay, so you can see proportional lining, ligatures, discretionary ligatures, very nice. I always like the TH. Some people hate the TH ligature. I think it looks nice. The G, the Q. Look at this little Easter egg. I pointed this out to Daniel as well. I said I like the Easter egg. Daniel McQueen, they're showing off the Q, the alternate set for the Q here, and they've got McQueen in there. Really like that. Circled numbers, that's unexpected, but very nice to see. And the filled circled numbers. And case-sensitive forms. You love to see that because there are times like this where the parentheses don't line up with all uppercase. Same with the @ symbol. I used to always tag my Instagram posts when I'm back in my fan art days. I'd tag it with all uppercase, and I'd always have to bump up the baseline for my @ symbol. So it's nice to see that that lines up. Calligraphic fusion right here. So not going to get into the big description and stuff this time around. 673 glyphs on there. So this is a very, very deep typeface, despite only having 2 styles on it, and it looks really neat. This is, hopefully I'm saying it right. If not, I'll get it right next time. This is Onica from the Designers Foundry. Next up, another one that I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce, and another one coming from the Designers Foundry. This second new release is called Resan, I think. Resan, R-E-S-A-N. And I don't see it spelled anywhere, so I'm going to type it out for you real quick. There it is. Resan. Obviously, this is a high contrast serif typeface. Let's go to the bottom and see how they're describing this. It says Resan Superfamily Chapter 1. Very cool. Yeah, I don't think we need to get too much into this. I just want to see what so currently it has 10 distinct display styles. This family marks the beginning of the Resan journey with a series of optical weights currently in the works to complete the story. Very cool. Do they give us any country or anything on here? No. Okay, but here's the designer right here. Carol Mularchik. Him. Okay. So it's a display typeface for now, but they are working on optical. He is working on optical sizes for this, so this should be expanded. We'll cover that again when that comes out. But for right now, this looks very nice. You know, we see high contrast serifs on here pretty often, but this one's doing an interesting things. A lot of times the lighter weights of it end up having some dark spots. This one doesn't look too bad though. Let's see. I'll be interested to see how they end up doing. Okay, this is interesting specimen text here. I'll be interested to see how they handle, how the Designers Foundry handles. Ooh, it is variable though. How they handle the optical size on here. Okay, so this is for this one. Let's do this. Ooh, man, that italics look great. Those italics look great. So here is the variable. Ooh. It's always interesting to see where you're going to add the weight at, and you can really get a better idea of where the stress is falling. Evie, good to see you back. Reminds me of Playfair. Yeah, for sure. Any of these high contrasts, especially with that curve in there. Let's see. I'm not sure if it's the top or the bottom. This little curve. I don't know if you'd call that cupping or not, because it's not on like a regular one. But yeah, anytime I see the curvy high contrast, I also am reminded of Playfair. Maybe that'd be a good one to do when we do the deep dive. Be a good one to compare it to, because in my brain it also reminds me of that, but I don't know if it would if I actually put it side by side. Ooh, in all caps, it has so much more authority though, huh? Like this, I could see doing some all cap stuff and kind of spreading this out. I wouldn't write "It's your birthday" on there. Man, these toggles are throwing me off. If you were going to do something, obviously this isn't the Prada font, but if you were going to do something that was a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more luxury, maybe spread it out a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty authoritative. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's look at these specimens right here, and then we'll move on. 10 styles, 2 variable fonts. So you're going to have 5 weights plus italics, and then you're going to get two separate variable fonts because these are true italics right here. This looks nice though. I'm interested to test out all of these. I don't know how many of these 16 fonts that we're showing this weekend I'm going to end up doing deep dives on, but I will definitely be testing them out myself. Ligatures, discretionary ligatures, cool. Case sensitive forms, very nice once again. Oh, look at all these alternate terminals. Wow, look at that. So they've got like the more rounded endings, and then they've got the more brush stroke endings. I'm sure they have better names for it than I'm using right now, but the alternate terminals, very nice. Denominators, that's typical to see. Numerators, see right there, probably does fractions decently as well. So 737 glyphs on that one from the Designer's Foundry. This was Resan. Hopefully I'm saying that kind of right. Okay, let's give BB Bureau one more chance here. We'll see if it loads while I get a drink of water. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we are going to move on to Pizza Typefaces. Two new releases from Pizza Typefaces, but they go together. So let's go ahead and just tile these and we'll look at them side by side since we're just doing a second impression here. And okay, are they loading? Yeah, there we go. So it says optimized. Let's see if they make sure they're both fully loaded. I want to have system fonts on here. These do look like they are variable fonts. So we've got a sans. So these are, I think it's called Fleyt. FL. Let me go ahead and type this for you. We'll keep optimized on there. Fleyt. I think it's called Fleyt. Fleyt. Maybe it's Fleyt. I'm going to say Fleyt and just be embarrassed if it's not right. We've got Fleyt Sans and we've got Fleyt Serif. These are both coming from Pizza Typefaces, and it looks like they're both variable, which is pretty cool. And they're also variable width. Wow. Look at that. Okay, I'm just going to keep these right here. If you're just now joining, I've been so consumed with TypeLab and Typographics this week that I have not had time to like really dive into any typefaces that we're looking at. So these are, going to be pretty casual and kind of like second impressions here. But I am really impressed with this interpolation. The weight, the width. Let's see how the italic does. Okay, let's see how the italic with the serif does. Oh, getting a little bit of difference on these eyes here. I wonder how they're handling. Look how they're handling those. So you're going to get kind of a, I don't think you can actually, I think it's how would you say it? I think it's on or off with this. They've got the slider here, but it's just 0 and 1. So I don't know if you can actually get anything in between it. But it is interpolating between the two. That'd be interesting to test out and see. Let me check my notes if Pizza Typefaces has full trials or not. They do have trials. I don't know if they're full or not. But okay, let's scroll down and look through some of these. Got Fleyt Sans on the left, Fleyt Serif on the right. These look clean. I mean, it looks like a great pair together, but I'm really like the serif one. Sans serifs, these probably, I guess this would be a neo-grotesque, right? Sans serif, we see these every single week. The serif, though, I'm a little bit more interested in, especially with the way that they've handled the italics on here. So you can see the narrow medium versus the narrow medium italic here. Let's just get the same words on here. I think it probably says the bottom. Go home on that one. See the difference between the serifs? Like it's like a true italic on there, but somehow variable. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm a fan of this one for sure. Pizza Typefaces, Fleyt Sans on the left, Fleyt Serif on the right. Not too much to look at here with the specimens. Oh, we could look at this in body copy though. Let's see. I don't know if this is made for body copy. Can we change these? We'll have to look at this at a different time, but I think it could actually work in body copy. Obviously the Sans could work well in body copy. I'm interested to see how the Serif would look in body copy though. Let's go all the way up to the top. We'll pick one of these regular ones and they've got narrow on here. They've got normal. Wow, there's a lot going on with these. All right, let's go with the medium here. Oh, that looks beautiful in body copy. Pizza Typefaces coming out swinging this week. That looks great. Wow, I'm really impressed with that. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a deep dive on this one. I say this every week, but man, I'm really a fan of this one. This is Fleyt Serif, hopefully. If not, it's called Fleyt Serif. Fleyt Serif and Fleyt Sans. coming from Pizza Typefaces, and look how wide, look how narrow, look how light, look how heavy, look how Roman, look how italic. This is a great pair, man. Gonna have to test this out, do a real deep dive on it to see you know, the ins and outs of it. But my second impression of this is very good, much more than I was expecting. And that's nothing against Pizza Typeface. I just thought, you know, putting out a family, you know, you're sans serif, like a lot of times when you put out families like this, they do kind of end up being a little bit, I don't know, a little bit vanilla, a little bit unimpressive. But you could see that they really put in a lot of work on this, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of these. Fleyt Sans, Fleyt Serif, Pizza Typefaces, very nice. Next up, we have a new release from line 2, and it looks like we've got a 404 error on this one. So this was a Tomorrow typeface, and Tomorrow typefaces are kind of like the beta fonts that you can get, but they're not fully released yet. Let's see if we can get this one to work. It's called Unisoft. Let's see if we can just search for it here. Unisoft. There it is right there. It says killing me softly. Unisoft 77. Let's see if we how do we click on this? There we go. Unisoft 77, and it's a rounded version of what's their other one called? Unisomething. Yeah, we don't see a lot of rounded fonts on here as much as I would like. I like these, and you know, sometimes people just round the terminals on them. Sometimes they make them very specifically, you know, to be rounded. There's never like a flat terminal version of it. I'm not sure what the situation here is with Unisoft. I think it's probably a rounded version of one of their other typefaces. Let's check fonts in use real quick, because like I said, this was a Tomorrow one. So this was okay. It was a rounded companion to LL Unica 77. So it is a rounded version of typeface that they already had released. I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes you just want the soft rounded version, and this is called Unisoft, so that makes sense. Sometimes you want the soft one, and it just you know, it changes the voice quite a bit, but you still get the same nice legibility. Like, look at this body copy here. That looks great. You know, I'd probably increase the line spacing a little bit, the leading a little bit. That's just me. I like bigger leading. But in terms of color, this looks great. There's no dark spots, no white spots. And it looks really nice. This would probably be interesting to compare to like a Helvetica rounded or something like that. Unica is pretty similar to Helvetica, which we've looked at on the channel before. Yeah, so I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on this one, but I just wanted to give a quick look at it. This one has been available for a couple of years, but it finally got its full release, so it is worth mentioning. But yeah, that is Unisoft 77. The counterpart, I guess we could show Unica real quick. The counterpart to Unica 77 from line 2. Let me see, Unica. Boom. And when you see Unica right here, you can see pretty quick. Actually, that's not super Helvetica E, is it? The A on there is not like Helvetica at all. But it is a neo-grotesque, so, huh. Yeah, that might, I mean, man, I'm going to personally look at all of these. I just don't know that we're going to have time to look at all of these on the channel. Unisoft, number 77. Unisoft 77 from line 2, full release now, and you can see that it's got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weights on it, and italic. So at least 12 styles on this one. Looks very nice. Next up, we have one from Stormtype, and this is another one that I'm not sure entirely what's going on with yet. This new release is called Etelka, Etelka Neo. The first thing I do when I see there's a new release is find out if it's actually a new release. So I start out by checking fonts in use, and I looked for Etelka Neo. There was nothing, but then you just search for Etelka, and you get this, and it says first released in 2006, 3 widths, blah, blah, blah. And then Etelka Sans released in 2019 as a counterpart. This is Etelka Neo. So I do have Etelka and Etelka Neo right here. Let me go ahead and tile these for you. I don't know yet what the difference is between these. And like I said, I've been so consumed with Typographics, TypeLab, Congfig, that I just haven't had an opportunity to reach out to StormType and find out what the differences are between these. But when we looked at Baskerville Classic and Baskerville Neo, the Neo was like an updated version that had some more modern characteristics and stuff like this. This one looks like it's got some more, might have some more language support or something. I'm not sure. It looks like both of them are variable. Small caps, old figures. Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is between these, but it's new, and in some way it is different from the old Etelka. I don't know what the difference is yet, guys. I apologize. I don't know, but I just wanted to put it out there in case you are interested in this. So that's all we're going to look at for this one. Etelka Neo from StormType Foundry. Looks to be some kind of upgrade or update on Etelka, and Etelka already has Etelka Sans? Etelka. Huh. It says Etelka Sans. Oh, Etelka Sans was a revision. There's also a Etelka Slab, right? So if we go to this one here, let me go ahead and show you the slab real quick. Etelka Slab. So there's a family here. I'm just not sure how it all fits together. Etelka Slab, Etelka Neo, and Etelka. All from StormType Foundry. But this week's new release was Etelka Neo on the left there. We've got 2 more new releases, and then we'll get a preview of next episode, tomorrow's episode. What are we on? We're on 6. We should be on 7, but this 6th new release here is from a foundry that I was not previously familiar with. So this is the first time we're going to be looking at this on the channel, and my second look at this typeface. This one is called Koko, and it's coming from Monkey Type Foundry. Also stylized as MNKY, but when you look at the EULA and stuff like that, they're saying Monkey. So I'm going to call it Monkey. But this is called Koko, and it's got a few different weights here. It looks like this drop down's not really working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's got 5 styles plus italics on it. Try and test this out. This website looks really cool. I like the pop. This reminds me of like old Nickelodeon websites in like the 90s and stuff like that, when people had fun websites. It's really fun. It's cool how it pops up. Kind of reminds me of like video games and stuff. But when you're scrolling through a EULA like this and this little pop-up, like this little squircle super ellipse shape here, I don't know that this is the best way to go about this. Like, I don't know that this is like how you want to read a EULA. So shout out to them for, you know, putting out a fun website, but is it the most, is the most practical? No. Does that matter? I don't know. So let me go ahead and show you some. Yeah, none of this. Oh, you can move. No way. Can you move all of them around? No, just that one. Wait, let's open this and see if we can move it. No, just that one. Okay, that's still kind of cool that you can move this around. So this says, Koko spent the morning at the printworks, clearly reminiscent of the broadsheets she handled. This is a very abstract. It says, draws inspiration from classics such as Time New Roman and Plantin and reimagines them in the present day. Her squared slab serifs and sturdy stems add to her grounded appearance, which is aching to explore the more editorial typesetting contexts. Okay, so that makes sense. Let's go ahead and test this out. We've got light. Let me see the light italic real quick. Okay, true italics on this. Very nice. I like how big can we make this on here? Make this bigger? Oh yeah, we can get nice and big. Look at these K's are interesting. So the uppercase K, you know, not quite touching there, but it's almost got your Frutiger leg and arm touching it there, instead of it's more like I don't know, like an ITC Avant-Garde or something. Does that one not touch? There's one of them that doesn't touch. But this one here, it's got that little crossbar, but the crossbar is actually kind of part of the stroke. That's really interesting. Yeah, typically they would match. You know, a lot of times they do match, but I'm fine with this. This looks fun. Okay, so nice and big there. I wonder if we can see more glyphs. You can see all the glyphs there. Let's get something else on here. Let's make this way smaller though. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's get to some different weights here. Let's go all the way down to the biggest one, bold. Okay. So there's no bracketing, so it's not like a Clarendon or anything like that. It's just a straight up slab serif. It's got some very angular, like, I don't know what I would typically call tails, but they're so angular, it's almost hard to call them tails. And you've got that same sort of connection in the B there. Look at this B, how the K was before. Huh. It's interesting. I mean, it's not the same, but you're doing kind of the same thing where you've got these unexpected strokes in there. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, this is my second impressions. I apologize. I'm kind of just talking out loud here. But let's go ahead and see some specimens and stuff. Looks nice with the words. Probably get a little bit more line height on that. There we go. Let's see this in like a regular weight. They've got regular and they've got medium. Ooh, this could probably look good in body copy. Let's see it in the paragraph. I don't know about these colors. Can we change these to like a regular color? There we go. Get a little more line spacing on this. This is a fun little tester to play around with. I do have a trial of this, but this tester is really fun. Yeah, look at that. That doesn't look bad. We need way more line spacing than that though, because they're crashing into each other. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. And then you compare that to like get back to a title here. We'll just leave it on Koko. You get like a bold italic on there. Yeah, you could do a lot with this. This is fun. I'm not sure with the glyph count, not sure of anything. There's no scrolling. I know you can't tell, but I'm like trying to scroll up and down over and over and it just doesn't do anything. But this tester is really fun, little bubble. So I don't know how useful that is. Ooh, look at that overlay though. This is a cool website. I got to give it to them. Monkey-Type, shout out. This is a very cool website. Is it the most practical? Probably not. Got some Roman numerals in here. Looks like decent language support. You're not getting much more than Latin though. Okay, this is a fun one. You do a GIF? Okay, we'll finish on the GIF there. This was Koko from Monkey-Type. Very fun, very nice. New Foundry for me. Maybe it's new for you, maybe it's not. But this is a fun one, and I'm definitely going to dive into this on my own time, even if I don't do a deep dive on it on the channel. This last one here is probably not new to anyone. Our final new release is from Frere-Jones, and this is actually from Fred Shellcrass. And I apologize, I don't know which one it was, but he presented at one of the TypeLabs today. I think he presented, yeah, so it must have been today. I think he presented at TypeLab Day 2 Americas, and he talked about the story behind this one. You can also read the story linked in the description with this blog entry. So Frere-Jones typically does a really good job with these backstories. They're usually not written by the designer, and this is no different. Emma, I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but this is written by Emma, and I did read through this entire thing. It was really fun to read through. I have in the past read through a lot of these Frere-Jones blog articles, even when they're not new releases, but it does give you a good backstory and kind of like walks you through how this came to be. And I will just say that it's inspired by dolphins in some sense. And when you know that it's inspired by dolphins and this fluidity, and particularly this typeface up here, Venetian. So combine dolphins, combine Venetian, and this was originally done for. It was supposed to be this documentary, Margaret and the Dolphin, but I don't think it ever actually got released. So anyway, this typeface ended up getting fully fleshed out. There are 6 styles on this. They're all italic, but yeah, they're all italic. Let me make sure I'm not making a mistake here. Yeah, they're all italic. But it is variable, so you can do variable width on this. I don't even know if there's a weight on it. I think it's only the variable width. So, yeah. But don't listen to me. Go skip to, go look for this in TypeLab. If I remember, I will go and add a link to it. But they are going to be deleting these TypeLabs, so there's kind of no point in doing it. But there's a PDF specimen of it. There's the blog article. Those are going to be up forever. Unfortunately, that TypeLab video won't be up forever. This one's really fun, Constrictor. Go check it out while you can. If there's a video you're going to go check out this one. I've got some others I'm going to mention tomorrow that you should really go check out. But let me just show you this width variable a little bit more right here, because this is kind of the coolest part about it. And he talks about this and how to, particularly the S. So see this S right here? This was one of the things he talks about in the presentation today. Like, where do you add the weight? Let's just delete all this. Where do you add the weight? Where do you take away the weight? Like, how do you do the stress? And look at the spine on this, how it gets much straighter and how they're handling that. There's a lot of interesting stuff in this typeface because it's all italic and, trying to do the one up here, interpretation. Oops, I'm grabbing the wrong thing. It's all italic, but when you're doing this width on here with this very unique typeface, you can even see some of the ink traps and stuff sliding up and down on it. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to test out and play around with as well. I have historically been able to get review licenses from Frere-Jones, so I'll definitely reach out. I'm sure many of you will be interested in this one because, major Foundry, and it's a very unique, interesting typeface. I don't know off the top of my head what the use case is for this, but obviously anything display, anything that you're going to want some like fluidity, like that feeling of just like this movement. The other thing that he talked about, he was setting this in Dutch, I think. No, he was setting it in Icelandic, I think. Maybe Greenland, Icelandic, I don't know. A different language other than English. And he was talking about the rhythm of it. So if you have like these M's, I think he typed the word minimum as well. Minimum. See how like this is gonna, like everything kind of looks the same, but then you throw in, I think he showed the use case of like a P on there. Let me make this way bigger. Throw a P in there and it seemed so out of place, but that was one of the things that he liked about it, and how it was kind of like this variety of the rhythm in there. And I don't know which characters are necessarily good to look at because I haven't fully tested this. But you can see with the P, I do remember him showing off that one there, the P and the D there, how they really break up that very, very fluid, very repetitive minimum right there. And obviously you could throw an H in here. That's going to look exactly the same as those. But you can see how things are moving around in very interesting ways. And the TypeLab video that Fred presented today on TypeLab 2 Americas, linked in the description under the TypeLab section. It was really interesting. So I would encourage you to go check that out if you like this typeface. If you're watching this like 2 months in the future, or maybe even 2 weeks in the future, you can still read the blog article, which is also linked in the description. So I'm going to get a drink. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing tomorrow, getting some hearts in chat there. I think people like Constrictor. Very nice. I'm going to switch to my face cam, and I'm going to read you off some typefaces that we're going to be looking at tomorrow. I am going to be back tomorrow, so a little bit shorter today. Probably about how long these should typically be. I don't think that people want to watch 2-hour videos. Let me know if you do. The last couple of ones have been very long. There's just been so much going on. And I know that part of that is the longer that I'm doing this, the more foundries, the more type designers and stuff that I come in contact with, not in person, but just like the more people and stuff that I'm aware of. And then there's just more coming in for me to absorb and kind of put into these episodes. So 16 new releases this week. When we started this, I think I was doing like 5 new releases. And I remember we got up to like 10. I was like, okay, we got to reel it in. Now we're doing, 16. And these are all like professional top tier foundries and designers. I'm not even, if we were trying to do every new release that existed this week, that came out this week, we would be finishing next week. But we've got 8 more new releases. We'll try to do BB Bureau tomorrow. I know I gave a little bit of a preview of it today, but if it works tomorrow, it works tomorrow. But we've got 8 like full more new releases to talk about tomorrow. Plus tomorrow we're going to talk about Typographics 2026 in a little more detail. I'm going to give some shout outs to my favorite presenters from TypeLab from the last 2 days, and then I'll give you the links to TypeLab for Sunday as well. So there is a ton going on right now. My big hope, just before I get to these new releases for previews for next week, next episode tomorrow, my big goal for next year is to be at these conferences and events and do like man on the street reporting, and actually like go and talk to people and stuff and show you these conferences behind the scenes and show you the stuff that like people aren't really seeing unless you're actually there. And I've been to some design conferences and stuff, but I haven't been to any of these typography conferences. So I'm really interested to see what it's like. So next year, that's my big goal. Hopefully I'm not reporting from here. I'm reporting from New York, but we'll see how that goes. So new releases that we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Font Club Belgica. I think it's Belgica. Had a new release. Mostar Design has a really nice new release. Mostar Design Type Foundry. I'm also going to show you, that'll give me an excuse to show you some of the specimens that Mostar Design sent me last year. They're amazing, and the specimen, the digital specimen for this one, I don't know if there's going to be a printed one. It looks great too. 2 new releases from APK Type Foundry, and they're very different typefaces, like how the Designer's Foundry was today, not like pizza typefaces today. Font Fabric has a new release. Cape Arcona, gave you a preview of that one, but Spotnik Serif looks amazing. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Brandon Nickerson has a new release called Be in Queen. It's actually free right now. I'll give you the link tomorrow, but if you want to go get that now so you don't miss it, Be in Queen from Brandon Nickerson. And then Out of the Dark released Monoform, and it's a color font. We're going to look at this tomorrow, but just to give you a preview. I've got some other stuff to talk about tomorrow too, but I don't want to hang out for too long because I am putting out back-to-back episodes. And I know some people watch these in order. Please don't do that. Just watch them when they release. If you miss an episode, you'll be fine. I mean, I would love you to give me the watch time. That's fine. That's great. But don't feel like you have to watch these in order. These are very episodic, and it's the news. Think about the news. If you miss the news on TV, you just watch it the next day. You'd survive. So I am going to get out of here. Jim Girth says, Jim Girth, you're up late. Good to see you. Jim Girth says, I didn't mind the last hour and a half episodes. 2 might be pushing it a bit, though. I agree. 2 is pushing it for you and me both. I am going to try and keep these under 90 minutes. I think that's kind of like the sweet spot. 1 hour to 90 minutes is the sweet spot. Good to see you tonight, Evie. Good to see you, Jim, and everyone else that joined but was a lurker. Don't worry, I'm a lurker in most live streams as well. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I have everything linked in the description. Check out Typographics tomorrow. Check out TypeLab on Sunday for sure. But I'll be back tomorrow night, and I'll get chapters added to this for anybody that missed anything. Jim says, have to go to bed now. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed soon too. So thanks for hanging out, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. I was Curtis Simpson. I'm trying to find it on the second monitor. I was Curtis Simpson, and this was Typography News number 59.